Hello, one and all. Welcome back to the Douglas Podcast, the only podcast where I deliver the hottest and most controversial takes and expect nothing bad to happen to me. All right. Well, today's episode, we are going to be talking about something that's been in the news for a while and recently resurged in the news, and I hope there'll be a tie-in to the next episode. But this week, we'll be talking about the Satanic Temple. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk to you a bit about today's sponsors. This episode of the Douglas Podcast has been brought to you by the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him. He's here, he's there, and he's pretty rad. One of the only angels to be cast down from heaven. He starts his own domain where he tortures bad people and hangs out. And if you like torturing bad people, Satan is for you. All right. Let's talk a bit about the Satanic Temple. What are they? Well, they're founded in 2012. It is it's a religious group that doesn't believe in a god or a higher power, but uses that sort of religious status and the belief of Satanism to exploit religious benefits in like a shining a light on how messed up it is, but I can do a better explanation of that. So religious places, mosques, temples, churches, they have special rights given to them. They're tax exempt, they collect donations, they do all these things, and people question whether that is fair in a place that separates church and state, where religion is not supposed to have any influence on politics. These religious sites get political privileges that other people do not get. And the purpose of Satanism is to come off as a religion, take advantage of these benefits, and then the Christians in the government and in the United States that are so hard on like First Amendment rights, free speech, and like religion is important, to get them to be like, well, if religion's important, then you should be fine with this religious thing, right? And they are going to be like, no, that's Satan. But I think a better way to talk about it is to give a few examples of what they've done. Most recently, Iowa State Capitol erected a nativity scene, which is a depiction of the birth of Jesus, very much a Christian altar, a Christian show, and people are kind of upset. They're like, hey, this is a very clearly religious thing in a governmental building, and there's supposed to be separation of church and state, and we don't want this religious thing there. And so I have my notes document here, was the governor. Yeah, the governor was basically like, hey, this is a free country. Anyone of any religious faith can put anything in the Capitol building. We let these Christians do it because we support Christians and we're Republicans. But like, if any Jewish or Muslim person wants to erect anything for the holidays, they are totally welcome to. And the church, or the Temple of Satan, decided, hey, we're gonna erect a statue to Baphomet and an altar, and this very deeply satanic thing that is protected under the First Amendment, religious freedom. But all of the Christians who were in support of the nativity scene are all up in arms, saying it's satanic, it's devil worshipping, trying to destroy it, all that stuff. And then the Temple of Satan is like, well, how can you be fine with that religious thing being up, but not this religious thing? Another issue that they are tackling is with abortion rights. Again, mostly Christian Republicans are against abortion, outlawing abortion in many states. And so the Satanic Temple opened up a abortion clinic in states, well, first starting in New Mexico, where it is banned, but probably soon in other states where it's banned as well, as a religious ritual, saying that abortion is a religious ritual, and if it's performed here in this religious abortion center, you can't do anything to stop it because of First Amendment rights. And again, up in arms about that too. It's like, no, abortion is wrong, it's bad, but it's a religious ritual, and you can't infringe on religious rituals, just like you can't infringe on Christian religious rituals. All the people that are like, we need to ban abortion because it's anti-Christian, it's like, my faith doesn't believe in abortion. Well, this faith has it, and you have to respect all faiths legally by the Constitution. And if you're going to bring religion into politics, then you have to allow all religion, or else it's not fair. But I'll save that for the opinion section. Another few things that they have done of note is, close to their founding, they were able to get the tax-exempt status that other religious organizations have. And they originally didn't want it because it puts religious groups at a place higher than everyone else, where they just don't have to pay taxes because they're a religion. But they got it, and of course, to the upset of Christians, it's mostly Christians, Republican Christians, that are upset with all this. People of other faith, I don't believe, are that much up in arms about it. And it's not all Christians either. It's mostly the super duper like evangelical Christians that are up in arms about it. But like this Satanic Temple that represents everything that Christians are against are getting the same religious rights as them, and it bothers them. And another few things they do, they have after school Satanic Temple clubs, just like Christian clubs do. There are so many Christian clubs after school, and now there's a Satanic Temple club. A few other things as we finish off this part. They have lots of things like, again, prayer in school, something that people are a little wishy-washy about. Protecting mental health and protecting children. Yeah, that's a lot of what they've been doing. They also had a SantaCon. That's pretty good. But yeah, even on its website, the things it's promoting is like reproductive rights. They've got what's called Gray Faction. It'll protect mental health patients from like being experimented on and being like institutionalized. Protecting abuse against children. And even like a sobriety program. Lots of good things in the name of Satan. And I'll soon be talking about my thoughts on all this and why Satan's a pretty cool guy. But before we get into all that, here are 2 minutes of keyboard sounds. welcome back. I hope you all enjoyed those keyboard sounds. And let's get a little bit into what I think about all this. And I think that this is great. I personally don't believe in a God, but I do think that religious institutions get some advantage that's not necessarily fair to everyone. Churches are tax exempt, and there are some rules about them being tax exempt, like they are not allowed to be political at all or promote any sort of political reasoning. In fact, there was a church, I forget when or where, but the pastor was preaching about Trump and being all pro-Trump, and someone reported that to the IRS, being like, hey, this church is promoting religious ideas, and then they lost their tax exempt status. So it's very much highlights that how religious institutions are treated unfairly compared to everyone else. And we're supposed to have a doctrine of separation of church and state, which what that means is not necessarily like you can't talk about religion in government at all, but it's supposed to be that like the governing party is supposed to not have any relation to any sort of religious thing. Like, for example, Vatican City, which is technically its own country, is a theocracy where the leader of the country is the religious leader, the Pope. And you sort of had a thing in England when the Anglican Church was founded, and it was King Henry. King Henry was leader of the Anglican Church and also leader of England. And the founding fathers wanted to make sure that all religions were welcome and that no religion was to dominate U.S. politics. But the one religion that has dominated U.S. politics is Catholicism. I'm pretty sure that all of our presidents have been Catholic, and all of them swear on a Bible when they're inaugurated, and it's stuff like that that makes you think like, okay, are church and state really that separate? All these benefits that we're granting to religious institutes, are they really worth it? And what the Temple of Satan is doing, which is different from the Church of Satan. I want to make sure there's an actual church that does worship Satan and believes in Satan, and this is different from the Satanic Temple because they don't like pray to or worship Satan in any direct capacity. They sort of use it as a way to exploit these benefits that religious institutions get in a way that angers the Christians that have that same thing. They're like, well, it's Satan. They shouldn't get tax exempt, but you're tax exempt. This satanic symbol shouldn't be allowed in the state capitol, but your religious thing is. And ideally what it does is it makes this would never happen, but ideally it makes the Christians realize like, hey, maybe these governmental privileges are not right. Maybe it's not fair, and maybe we should put an end to it. There was an episode of I forget what show it was, but basically I think it was BoJack Horseman, but there was a big gun control episode, and what happened is like everyone's like, oh no, we can't do gun control, it's a right, everyone needs to have it. And then women started buying guns and owning guns and walking around with guns, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, we need to take these guns away. And it's sort of like the idea that as soon as my enemy starts having the same benefits that I do, I want to take away the benefits. Like, I'll shoot myself in the leg to hurt others. And so if the Temple of Satan can rile up enough Christians to be like, okay, we need to take away this tax exempt status. Okay, we don't want religious, not that we don't want religious freedom. We do want religious freedom, but we don't want religion in our government because then we let in Satan. And if they can manage to do that, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job. They're being pretty successful. but also it's just a pretty rad thing to do, to have the gall, because it's more than just like a statement of being like, hey, look at us, don't we make you angry? It's more than just a political statement. They are actually helping people. The abortion clinic is actually going to help people that need to get an abortion in places where abortion's banned. You know, their after school programs are actually going to help children who are in need. They're actually going to help people who are like mentally ill and protect them from being experimented on. These are all like real people that they're helping. It's not just like a statement. It's not just like a political protest. It's more than just a statue in a Capitol building. It's about the rights of the American people and how they deserve to be treated fairly, and how no governmental institute has the right to say that some people can have the rights and other people cannot. And I want to end this segment with a bit of a tie-in toward the next thing, is that in response to the statue of Baphomet being put up in the state capitol in Iowa, Christians began doing prayer circles around their like nativity scene and around Christmas trees. And it's ironic how the nativity scene, or not the Christmas tree, is originally a pagan tradition in itself. These religious things that they so desperately want to cling on to and have the exclusive right to have aren't even theirs to begin with. And that ties in a little bit to what I want to talk about next time, which is Christmas. It's the holiday season, and Christmas was originally a pagan holiday. And the Christian leaders basically took that, made it on the same day. And, well, you'll have to find out next week. Or, yeah, actually, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Whenever the next one is. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the Satanic Temple. If you also want to support the Satanic Temple, worship Satan. Satan's a pretty cool guy. And most things I've seen, you never see Satan in like a thing that isn't cool. Like, he's always got like sunglasses and smoking, and he punishes bad people. So how can he be bad? You know? But anyways, those are my thoughts on that. And now you'll get to hear 1 minute of me saying Bella. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about another video game. So go ahead, please enjoy. Bella. 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 Alright, I hope all of you enjoyed that. And now to talk about a video game. Last episode, I talked about some Switch games that were for free. And now I want to talk about another Switch game that I really enjoy and that I'm very late to the party on, but that is Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing has been around for a while, and the game that I've been playing right now is New Horizons, which is their game on the Switch. You start off on going to an island with just you and 2 other villagers, they're called. And this raccoon guy, Tom Nook, he's like, alright guys, we're starting up this island. We're gonna make this island the best travel destination ever. So set up some campsites, and we're gonna do a bunch of stuff. And basically, He sells you a plot of land, and you just have to pay him back over time for that plot of land, and you can do whatever you want. You'll eventually be able to travel to other islands to get more villagers for your island, to get a bunch more resources, and it's a lot of fun. It's a mixture of resource gathering, building stuff, and exploring, which I'm a big fan of, all in this one little island getaway. Personally, a few things I like to do in that game are, there's different types of flowers, and naturally spawning, or like you can purchase seeds. There's only like 3 colors, but if you water your plants and you mix them correctly, you can like start breeding hybrids. So like, for example, like you can start with mums. You've got red, white, and yellow, but if you mix red and white, you get pink. You can get like blue and green and all these colors, and there's like a sort of chain, and that's a fun thing to do. It does take some time because you can only water your plants once a day, and even if you water them, there's only a percent chance that it's gonna hybridize into the new one. So I've set up like these big farms where basically every day I go and I water all the plants, and the next day I've got to see if any of the new hybrid plants have come up, and then keep doing that over and over again. It takes a long while. And there's one that's particularly hard to get, which is the blue rose, because while most other flowers, it's just like, oh, you breed these two, you get pink, and if you mix pink with this other one, then you'll get this, and if you mix that one with that one, you get that. But blue roses are a little bit harder. There's multiple ways to get them, but the easiest and most recommended way is that if you breed together, I forget which one's it. I think it is if you breed together black and purple, which are both hybrid flowers that you need to get all the way up to, then there's a chance that you'll get a special red. And then if you breed all the special reds together, you'll get the blue. And that's especially difficult because A, you don't know if the red you get is the special red. And also you have to go all the way up. It'd be one thing if you're just like, oh, you breed these two together and you have it, because now you got to keep track of like, okay, which ones are my special reds, and I got to keep these special reds here separate from everything else, because I need the special reds to breed to make blue flowers, and that's pretty difficult. Another thing that I like to collect things. I like to unlock everything and have all the special little hard to get things. So there's these things called I forget what they're called. Oh my god. Anyways, there's these little figures. Oh, this is gonna bother me that I forget what they're called. Hold on. I think I can find it. But basically, there's these little guys that they come in different colors. There is oh, come on. Gyroids. They're called gyroids. Okay, I'm sorry. You find these fragments at a certain point in the game, and if you bury them and water them, they come into these little figurines, bunch of different types, bunch of different colors, and they like dance around a little silly. So I've got one part of my island sectioned off to just collecting every single type. So I'll have them in rows of like by type, organized by color, just down the whole part of that island, and then I'll have a section where I like bury the fragments and water them so they'll grow the next day, because they like the fragment pieces like naturally spawn on your island, so you can just dig them up and get them, and that's lots of fun as well. There's also golden tools which you get after a certain amount of time, for various different reasons. Like if you break 100 axes, you'll get a gold axe, and they're not unbreakable, but they do have higher durability. If you get like an island score of like 5 stars, you get a golden watering can, which if you water black roses with, you get golden roses, so that's pretty cool. If you shoot down like 300 presents, you get like a golden slingshot. And one that's really hard to get that I'm trying to get is the golden shovel. Basically, sometimes on your island there is a chance that a seagull will wash up on your island, like on their unconscious, and if you go and talk to him, nothing happens. So you have to talk to him like 10 times before he gets up. And it's one of two. There's Gulliver and Gullivar, and they both basically need to fix their phone so they can get back, and they'll give you a reward at the end. But only one of them, you need to like help them 100 times, and you'll get the recipe for a golden shovel. And that's very difficult because not only is it a rare chance for him to show up, but only half the time are you actually making progress towards getting that gold shovel. And originally, in previous games, if you had a gold shovel, you could like dig a hole and plant money and grow a money tree. But now they don't do that in this version, which I think is dumb, because if you work hard enough to get that far, you should get a good reward like that. But anyways, I digress. It's a really fun game. I really enjoy collecting all the stuff, and I would recommend it. Anyways, that's all I had for this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button and subscribe, and comment below what you want me to talk about next. If you still haven't fallen asleep yet, that's okay. I got lots of other videos for you to watch. Go ahead, feel free to watch them all. Give them all likes and subscribes. You can only give one subscribe. Give them all likes. Comment what you want me to do next. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.